Good evening. My name is Aaron Finch. Currently, I'm enrolled in the Sonoran Desert Institute course F- FT02 Principal in Firearm Technology. Um, we are currently in Module 5, going over the 8 cycles of operation with different platforms. Currently, I'm going to be using my firearm, which is a Glock 45 clone. Um, it is a short recoil operated system, using recoil to be able to cycle and complete the 8 stages. Um, Kind of gonna just jump right into it. I also got a micro dagger from Palmetto State Armory that's broken down as well, that I'm gonna be comparing some of the inner parts so you can get a kind of idea of how the system actually works. With the short recoil system, most times you see this being used in handguns, um, shorter frame, like 1911s, uh, things like that. Though those are like common platforms that you're gonna see the short recoil system being used. Um, like I said, I'm gonna kind of just hop right into it just to show you like the feeding, the chambering, the locking, um, the firing, the unlocking, the extracting, ejecting, and the cocking. All right, so let's start with just doing a quick safety check. Nothing in the chamber right there. Actually, you should probably clear. No rounds in the magazine. This has already been broken down. The feeding process of the 8 cycles of operation with the Glock actually starts with the magazine. This is your follower. You have a spring that's on the bottom of it. Has tension that's pushing the cartridge up. Your cartridge is just gonna sit right here. So, like I said, whenever you slide your slide back, you have a locking bar. So the cool thing about short recoil systems like this, 1911's Glock, they have a free floating barrel, which is something that it's a barrel that's not attached to really anything. And you have a locking bar. So what happens with the free floating barrel to help cycle rounds easier, cartridges easier, is that it tilts at an angle, allowing this wedge to assist whenever the slide is coming backward. Whenever it's coming forward, and you have, how to use this, the back of your barrel, from the back of your slide, once it catches with the help of your extractor right here, once it catches the rim of that cartridge with the help of your free floating barrel and your locking bar right here, it's gonna tilt forward, tilt backwards like this. Matter of fact, tilt backwards, and the slide, as it slides back forward, it's gonna cause it to tilt back down and lock it in place. It locks in place. This is how it's gonna look when it's locked in place. You see, locked in place, and then whenever it recoils back like that, it tilts forward. Tilts forward. Just like that. Whenever it recoils, tilts forward like that. And then as it's still tilted forward, boom. Let's talk a little bit about your striker. This is how the striker looks of a Glock. Most Glocks are pretty similar. So how it works is, and this is the trigger group as well. Um, let's see. Right here is gonna be your ejector. It's gonna help eject the round out of right here, side of the slide right here, the ejection port. This silver part right here is gonna be a trigger bar. If you come around to this side right here, this metal piece right here is gonna be your connector, and this top crossbar right here is what makes contact with your striker, the tip of your striker right here, and with the help of the top of the crossbar and the underslide, the under part of your slide, this groove, it has a groove right here. This right here is what helps reset the trigger and basically cocks and makes and gets it ready to be fired again. How it kind of works is within the frame. Let's look at it from here. So right now the trigger is pulled, so your crossbar is going to be a lot flatter right now, and what happens is when you pull the trigger, your trigger bar right here runs alongside your connector, and the groove of your connector is angled down, so that so that trigger bar, after being pulled so far, it falls down, and that inherently makes the top of the crossbar fall down as well. So when your trigger isn't pulled and it's reset, how that looks is this part right here, your connector makes contact, like I said, with the undercut of your slide, and what that does is after a round is fired and the slide comes back this way, it comes back this way so far, but with your with your locking block and the help of your spring, it's gonna shoot it back forward. That's the recoil. That's the short recoil system. That is pushed this way. So look, this what happens. If you look at it closely, how it happens is if you push this part, you heard that? It releases, makes the top of your crossbar sits up a little higher. What that does is now when your slide moves back forward, your striker is going to be located here. That metal piece that's sticking out right here is going to make contact with the top piece of that crossbar. It's going to make contact now, right? When it makes contact with the top of that crossbar, what that does then it allows, with that force, it's going to pull your trigger bar up. You're going to be able to move your trigger bar, and you're going to see what happens. You're going to actually hear it. Heard that? Now the trigger is reset. So then I fire around, I pull this trigger bar. What happens is I pull it, boom, it falls down that connector. Shot is fired, falls down that connector, releasing your striker forward, making contact with that primer, causing the round to go off, causing the slide to recoil back. When the slide recoils back, the underneath of the slide pushes on this bar again, pushes on that bar, releases your trigger bar up with the help of your recoil spring. sends the slide back forward. And in that time, your barrel would have made contact with your locking block, which inherently, would inherently tilted the barrel upward, making that wedge easier for a round to slide up. The back of, like I said, your slide is gonna make contact with the rim, also with your your extractor. It's gonna make contact with that rim, locking it in place, and the cycle just repeats itself. It pulls, like I said, pulls back, reset the trigger, pull down, bow. And the cycle just resets itself. So that's kind of why I, fell in love with the short recoil systems, especially the Glocks, because they're so simple. And it's just a repetitive eight cycle step of operation. It's simple. It's springs, really springs, and in my opinion, some great innovation. Like I said, this locking block, the technology of being able to tilt your barrel upward, and it's very genius. So that's just my overview on the 8-step